I thought you want to say WZ Satu. Wait. So Siew Mung, this week's story, the Chinese wave, is a very interesting story. We have been seeing Chinese companies coming into the property market to build mega projects, tall buildings, skyscrapers. So why are we writing this story this week?
Actually, it started when I and Kathy, we interviewed a company called MCC. It is a subsidiary of China Meteorological Group. It is one of the leading companies in China that involved in EPC contracts. So the management actually told us that they plan to offer financing packages to local property developers. He saw the potential on that because now amid the property downturn, local banks are reluctant to give full loans to property developers. So they come out kind of like financing scheme like maybe if you get loans from banks like 70%, then they will make up for another 30% for property developers. And this is another one, we call it deferred payment scheme. This is like they build and then they only collect the payment when they completed the projects. And we also saw few contracts, few agreements have been signed by local property developers and Chinese parties in the past few months. It's also involved some financing facilities like 50 million to 100 million.
So what's the catch here?
When we look deep into that, there are some contractors and property developers told us that it's not that simple because some of them they face the issue in getting payment from Chinese construction companies because there is a strict capital control in China, so it's not easy for Chinese contractors to bring money to Malaysia. So some of the developers, that's why they may face the problem like delay of their projects because of that.
So this is actually another problem. Basically, when Chinese developers they get the jobs from local developers, they subcontract it to subcontractors from Malaysia.
Yeah.
So the problem is subcontractor after they finish the job, they can't actually get money from Chinese companies. So this is actually one of the problems. Now, I understand that some of the developers in Malaysia or some of the contractors in Malaysia actually feeling the heat because of the influx of these Chinese companies to Malaysia. Now, we actually spoke to Reda and also Master Builders. What did they say?
They actually raised some concern on that, especially in Johor, because they already seen several local contractors and property developers are affected by this so-called Chinese wave. So like they also mentioned some points like Reda said that it's good to open to foreigners, because we can get investment to Malaysia, but there should be a parameter because like we are facing some oversupply issues in Johor. And then, the competition conditions are different when you compete with Chinese companies because they are state-owned, so they are financially strong. And then, besides, they also they have overcapacity issue in China. So the competition models is different. So when they went to build they bid for the Silk Highway, they found the prices is actually quite low, so that local contractors are may not able to follow. So for them, if they have to compete with Chinese construction companies in open ground, some of them may lose out.
So it's not a level playing field anymore. That's what the article say. So that's why a lot of local companies they think that priority should be given to them instead of Chinese companies that have big financial muscle.
I think they mentioned that like just now I mentioned that Redas they say the government should have a parameter when embrace the foreign investment, and then it always have to consider the local contractors and local property developers. Like one of the local construction company, he mentioned that I think IJM Dato Som, he mentioned that we should only give the jobs to foreigners that
exceed a certain amount of money, right?
No, it's like they should only give away to them when local players, they don't have the capacity to do that. And then they may, the government may need to set a size of the projects that to reserve for local players. Yeah. Then, and actually we also talked to MOF, and then they say the government is actually looking into that, because in future, we all know that we have a lot of projects that will involve by foreigners in this kind of infrastructure. There are lots, so they are actually engaged with property developers and local construction players to understand and try to impose the local content.
For more on the stories, pick up a copy of The Edge Weekly at all good newsstands.